All right, chapter 1.4 is about inverse functions. So I've got a couple definitions here, and I'm going to give you a little overview as to what an inverse function is and sort of the rules for it. All right, so the actual definition is a little mathy, a little wordy as far as that goes, but essentially what it is each and every output um, has to have an individual x. So an output are your f of x's. These are, so each value from the domain must have an individual value in the range, an individual output. So in order to have an inverse function, the function actually needs to be one-to-one, which means for each output that we have, if we have two outputs that are different, two y values are different, two f of x, we have f of x1 and f of x2. If they're different, that means that we can't have the x's be the same. So the domain parts are also different. And we can illustrate that with what is a horizontal line test. You should be familiar with certainly the vertical line test to determine whether or not something is a function. So the vertical line test had you take a graph, and as long as one of the any given line only goes through one point, then you had a function. So this parabola is a function. There's no point at which we can draw a vertical line and get more than one point. Something like a circle would not be a function. The horizontal line test, however, let me make another one here. So this is vertical. Again, that vertical line test is determining whether something is a function, but a horizontal line test, if I had the same function, or reasonable facsimile thereof, you'll note that a given line goes through 2 points. So this parabola is not one-to-one, and just the general function f of x equals x squared. If I have an input of -1 or 1, I get the output of 1. So f at -1 equals 1, and f at 1 equals 1. So therefore, a parabola is not one-to-one. Or a quadratic, any quadratic is going none of the quadratics are going to be one-to-one. So in order for us to have an inverse function, we are going to have something that is one-to-one.